Hello everyone, I'm Celine Chan, a mummy blogger and mother of two. I'm a recipe contributor for the soon-to-be launched new Tea O'Clock cookbook, sharing this tweaked recipe of my favorite peanut butter and jam swirl bread. This peanut butter and jam swirl bread is very meaningful to me as it brought back many sweet childhood memories. Before I start, do like and share this tutorial. Invite 5 friends to watch this tutorial together, okay? Okay, let me share the ingredients that we'll be using today. Alright, so we have some roasted peanuts over here, which has already been peeled, okay, as well as some sunflower oil, okay. And then for the bread recipe, we do have a bit of yeast, sugar, as well as water. Alright, prima bread flour, of course, not forgetting that, as well as some salt as well. Okay, so now I'm going to start by doing the peanut butter. Okay, so we can actually weigh in the weighing scale. Okay, so let's pull out the weighing scale. Alright, so I'm going to weigh my peanut butter. I have about 200 grams of peanuts here. And then I'll add in my oil as well. Okay, put on the lid. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a minute, okay, and then speed 10. Okay, in between, while you hear that, the sound has actually changed a bit, you can actually pause it for a while. What happened is, okay, you can actually do a bit of scraping down. Okay, scrape it down a bit and then continue again. Alright, so you can always use the top of the, lift up the measuring cup just to take a small peep, to see how is it coming along. Okay, so let me just scrape down a little bit more. Okay, so basically you have to repeat this a couple of times because you want to blend until the oil from the peanuts actually come out. Alright, so I'm going to repeat another minute. Okay, speed 10 again. So every 20 seconds or so, just repeat the process of scraping down and then continue again. I can really smell the fragrance of the peanut now. So nothing beats homemade peanut butter, right? So the advantage of having a Thermomix is you can always homemade your own jam, your own peanut butter, okay, instead of buying store-bought ones. Okay, now it's done. Okay, so let's wait for it to open. Alright, so y'all can see, okay, it's almost done already. Okay, so what you can do is you can actually scrape out. Going to put aside. Okay, so what you can do is, okay, I'm not going to wash the bowl, reason being because there's a lot of peanut butter that's stuck on the bowl, right? We do not want to waste it, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on with the bread recipe. Alright, so now we are going to actually start kneading our bread. Okay, what we have here is I'm going to put in my water. Okay, as well as my sugar. And of course, to make bread I need some yeast. Okay, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually activate the yeast. So I'm going to do 1 minute. Okay, 37 degrees. And then just speed 2. Alright, so using Thermomix is actually very easy to actually do bread. Alright, because previously before having Thermomix, I actually have a bread maker. Alright, but even with a bread maker, my bread actually come out unsuccessful. Okay, because I believe the activating of the yeast part, because recipes always call for lukewarm water. But what is lukewarm water? Alright, yeast is a very sensitive ingredient. If the water is too hot, the yeast actually dies off. Alright, but if the water is not warm enough, the yeast is not activated and then your bread will not be fluffy. Okay, so in this case, we actually, with Thermomix, we can actually set very precise temperature. 37 degrees is actually the perfect temperature to activate your yeast. Alright, so ever since having my Thermomix, every time I do my bread, it comes out very successful, and actually with the kneading function, it actually comes out very, very fluffy as well. Okay, we still have a couple of seconds to go. Alright, and then next we're going to add in my salt, my flour, as well as a bit of peanut butter, okay? Alright, so it's very good when it's done, it will call for you. Alright, so just come to it and then you can follow on the next step. Okay, so I'm going to put in my flour over here. I have actually some bread flour, so I'm going to put it in. Okay, and then let me pour out my weighing scale. So it's very, very convenient having a Thermomix, right? Because if you need to do a weighing of anything, you can actually just weigh inside straight away. Alright, so over here, let me just bring out my weighing scale. I will need about 50 grams of the peanut butter that I've just made. Okay, we have a little bit more, it's fine. Okay, it just tastes a bit better later. Okay, and then I'm going to add in my salt as well. Okay, so I'm going to go into the kneading mode. So over here, the dough mode. Alright, and then I'm going to just set my timer, so I need 4 minutes. Okay, and then I just turn the knob and then I just start it. Okay, so for Thermomix, our kneading process is really, really fast as compared to a lot of other machines. Alright, so usually for like bread or mantou, for example, it only take about 2 to 3 minutes, okay? So for this recipe, it's actually very, very fluffy. We're going to do 4 minutes. Okay, so while the bread is kneading, I'm going to use the other Thermomix to actually start making my fruit jam. Alright, so very, very straight, easy. What I can do is I'm going to use a cookie dough recipe. Alright, so basically you can just go and search it. Okay, for the recipe, I've already added in over here. Alright, so I'm going to use the frozen mixed berry jam recipe over here. Okay, so for the cookie dough, it's very, very useful. Alright, because for example, if you have never even done jam in your life, okay, with this recipe, right, you can just follow the step-by-step instructions. You can actually get very, very nice jam at the end of the session. Okay, and personally, I've actually made jam myself before. It's a very, very tedious process because I actually have to stand at the stove and then continually stir for about 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, so with the busy life everyone has nowadays, this is actually very useful, okay, because it actually helps you to self-serve. So you just need to add in the ingredients and then after that you can go and do your other stuff. Alright, so without further ado, I'm going to start cooking. Okay, so over here, what I'm going to do is I have some frozen berries over here. Alright, some strawberries as well as blueberries. So I'm going to put it in. I'm doing half a portion today, so I'm using only about 250 grams of berries. Here I have some apples. Okay, you can actually use a core apple like this to put in because apple actually contains pectin, which actually helps your jam to set. Alright, some people also buy some natural pectin from Phoon Huat, it's also possible. Add in your apple. Okay, next. Okay, insert the measuring cup. So just follow the instructions. Okay, next step again. So it's already set for you. Basically, we need 10 seconds and then they tell you turn your speed selector to speed 5. Okay, so I'm just going to start it. Okay, so when it's done, it'll call for you. Alright, so just very easy. I have some sugar as well. And a bit of lemon juice. Okay, then cover it up. Okay, next step. Okay, so because I already added all this in, I can just mix. Okay, lemon juice I already put in as well. Okay, so I'm going to actually start cooking for 70 minutes using the Varoma. And then same thing, it said turn to speed 1, so you just turn to speed 1. Okay, so just to share a small little tip, okay, usually when you do jam, they will actually ask for sterilized bottle. Okay, because what happened is for homemade jams, right, it doesn't contain preservative. Alright, so in order to be able to keep it for a longer duration, it's better that you use sterilized bottles. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, since I'm actually using Varoma here, okay, what I'm going to do is I actually put in some glass bottles, okay, with as well as the lid. Alright, so I'm just going to put it on top so that it's going to steam it together, okay, to sterilize the bottles, and then later you can just straight away use them after the jam is done. Okay, I'm going to leave this while it's cooking, and I'm coming back to my bread. So while I'm doing that, actually my bread is already done. Okay, okay, so just to show you, alright, the dough is already very nicely formed. Let me just bring over the mat. Okay, and let me bring this away as well. Okay, so I'm going to actually pour out my dough. Okay. Okay, so your dough, you basically just form it into a ball. Okay, and then we need to proof this for a while, basically about 45 minutes to an hour, and then wait for the dough to actually be about double in size. Okay, so I'm going to just cover this, and then we'll just let it proof for a while. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, with my messy bowl now, I'm actually going to do a pre-wash. Alright, so what I need to do is just add in some water. Put it back in. Okay, then let me go back to home. Alright, so with Thermomix, we actually have the pre-cleaning function. So other than helping you to cook and all that, right, it also helps you to wash up. Alright, who doesn't love it, right? Because I love cooking, but I don't like to do the washing up after I cook. Okay, so basically what you need to do is same thing, just call out the function. There's a pre-cleaning function over here. Alright, and then there are 4 different modes. You can use the dough mode, alright, when you are after kneading dough. Okay, there's universal for general washing. Okay, and then of course there's fat or caramel. That means after you do, like for example, sugar stages and all that, you actually heat up your water to melt the sugar before you actually wash it for you. Alright, so it'll be sparkling clean after that. Okay, as well as there's also the browning, which is after you use the high temp recipes that the Thermomix can do, you can actually use this to actually wash it. Okay, so I'm going to do the dough mode now to actually wash it now. Okay, it's done. So it's calling for me. Okay, now it's done. Okay, let's take a look at our sterilized jars. Okay, there you go. Okay, you can just stop it. Right, and then let's take a look at our jam. Okay, it's already very nice texture already. Okay, so I'll use this to make the bread shortly. Okay, I've pre-prepared some jam earlier on because currently the jam is still very hot, right? So I'll put this aside and then I'll use this for my bread later on. Okay, our dough is ready proofed. Okay, let's take a look at it. Alright. So the first thing is punch down the dough. Okay, if it's a little bit too sticky, you can put a little bit flour on it. Okay, so punch the dough down. Okay. Okay, flour it slightly. Alright, so now I'm going to roll the dough out into a 50 cm by 18 cm rectangle. Alright, so just a small tip, what you can do is, you can actually put your baking loaf tin just in front of it so that you roughly know the length of the bread tin. Alright, so try to roll it a bit even, alright, so that your swirl come out will actually be nicer. Okay, and then next what you need to do is actually spread. Here I have about 50 grams of peanut butter which we have made earlier on. Alright, so just put it over your bread. Okay, and then spread it evenly over your dough. Okay, just leave a little edge at one of the sides, alright, because later we will need to seal the dough. Okay, just spread it evenly. Okay, and then next I have the jam. Alright, so on top of the peanut butter, put in the jam. Okay, and then once it's even, what you need to do is just tuck it in a little bit the sides, okay, and then start rolling. Okay, try to roll it as tight as possible. Okay, alright, and then at the edge, right, just seal the bread. Alright, so that your jam is actually sealed up. Okay, and this sealed portion, okay, put it at the bottom, alright, when you put into the loaf tin. Alright, so this goes in. Okay, and then what you need to do is just proof this for another 45 minutes to an hour, okay, until it's almost full, and then you can actually bake this at 180 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to let it proof now. Okay. Okay, time flies, another 45 minutes have passed, so I'm going to put the proof bread into the oven now, alright? I hope like me, you can also find your nostalgic childhood memories through food with Thermomix. Complicated dishes from old times, which we often find difficult to make, are actually made easier with lesser cooking steps when you make it with a Thermomix. The precise instructions when you cook with a Thermomix means that even when you're cooking a dish for the first time, it can be a success, and the cooked dishes can be consistently great. I've already pre-baked one loaf of the bread, alright, so let's slice it now. My recipe is one of the 63 recipes from the new Tea O'Clock cookbook. All the recipes have been tried and tested by our advisor community. The book will be available for pre-order soon, so do watch out for the announcement by Thermomix. If you have enjoyed my tutorial today, please click like and hope to see you all soon. Bye!